Hello, my name is Paul Jones. I'm currently building an O-gauge layout Hadley Junction, and in the last week or so I've just completed all the wiring on the layout to include all the points and point motors. It's been suggested that this might be of interest to other modelers and my experiences with the equipment I've used. I apologise for the quality of this video. I've taken it on my iPhone rather than a more sophisticated camera, and I'm not very good at it. Anyway, what did I do? I'll just pan around the layout, go to the control panel. For the running lines, I've been a lens user for some time. I've always found it most satisfactory, straightforward to use and operate, and have no complaints at all. My LZV100 recently developed a fault, so rather than pay what was potentially quite a large sum of money to have that repaired, I decided to invest in the new LZV200, which is plugged straight into the DCC system. Now, coming onto the control panel, you will see 5 units. Those are for my 5 power districts, and those are NCC EB1 power breakers, one for each of the 5 districts, and they feed directly from the LZV200 before the power goes to each of the power districts. I have one for the branch line, stroke good sidings, and then one for the up and down main lines, and one for the up and down storage sidings. Around the layout there are a number of the faceplates so that the controllers can be positioned and operated around the layout at appropriate places. In fact, there are 4 of these, one for the branch, one for the goods, one for the down main, and one for the up main. Moving now to the operation of the points and eventually signals, you will see I have used the DCC Concepts levers. My layout is a mid-30s base layout, and it seemed appropriate to me to use levers, which was as traditional for that period. Eventually the control panel will be completed. It will have a hinged flap here, upon which will be the track plan schematic. There's a rough copy there at the moment, and all the levers will be enclosed in a box to enable the levers to be disguised like a typical signal frame. So for the points, I have used Cobalt DCC Concepts IP digital motors. These I've been very pleased with so far. I've found attaching the little screw here onto the rod a little troublesome, but I have developed a technique to deal with that. The connections are all made through these spring clips here. Now, I do wonder how satisfactory they would be on an exhibition layout that is taken apart and dismantled many times, but they do seem to hold quite strongly. I also found that in order to get a good connection with the wires into the unit, it was a good idea to first of all have a minimum of 10 mil at the end of your wire, and then to tin the end, not the whole of the exposed wire, just the end. That makes it easier to get it into the holes before the spring is put in place. Spring clip is operated. I found that if you make them that too long, the spring will not hold the wire, and you can see that is quite a strong fix and hold. So these point motors have all been put in place around the layout. Then Coming to the operation of those points, I've already mentioned the DCC Concepts levers. I have a separate DCC buzz for the point motors. This is recommended to me by the boys at DCC Concepts. This keeps the operation of the points well away from the operation of the trains themselves. I know some models have had problems with short circuits with their layouts and having to reset the motors as a result. I've not had this problem so far with my arrangements here. So this device here is known as a snifter, and that controls the points. So that is the buzz there, buzz cable going out onto the buzz that goes around the layout. All of the points in my case are operated via the levers through the alpha AEU units, which can be seen here. Now, at the moment, I have 2 out of 4 wired up. The other 2 will be used, I expect, with the signals in due course. Again, there are spring clips for the holding of the wires. It saves the soldering, but you do need to be a little bit careful with making sure that the wire is properly held in there. Again, about a 10mm length works quite well. This bundle of wires here go to the levers which I have on the storage sidings. Now those levers are up to 7 meters away from this unit here. However, that hasn't been a problem at all with the operation of the points. These wires here on the second board are actually for the levers just in front of it here, and they're therefore a very simple, straightforward wire from the back of the lever onto the board. If I operate one of these, you'll see the light comes on, so that's number 13 operating. The reason 13 comes up on that board is because the numbers 1 to 12 are operating the points on the storage sidings. I have to say, I've found this a very straightforward system to use once we'd decided and understood how to operate the first of these units. That didn't seem to be entirely clear from the from the instructions included, and a look on the DCC website, DCC Concepts website, didn't really provide the answer. A phone to Mick Bryan at DCC Concepts gave us some support. I do think, however, that either the instructions should have a simple idiot's guide to getting these units operating, or there should be a more explanatory note on their website, or even a short video showing how it's done. Once understood, it is very easy and straightforward. And it's particularly easy to allocate a lever to a point once you've got your points in place. I'm also on a number of occasions operating 2 motors off the same lever where we have crossovers, etc. So all in all, so far I'm very pleased with these arrangements. They seem to be working to my liking and satisfactorily and reliably. Having just completed the wiring, I'm about to embark on a rigorous testing regime of my stock, etc., to iron out any faults in the track work, etc., before starting work on the scenics. Have fun. Bye. Pannier tank 2743 shunts the yard. X7 and Y number 1356 Will Scarlett brings a pickup freight into the goods yard at Hadley Junction. Rail car 22 pulls at the station before proceeding onto the main line on its journey towards Gloucester. Dean Goods 2515 leaves the shed area to await for the main line for its next turn of duty. Panutag 8777 brings a parcels train into the lay-by siding at Hadley Junction to await the passage of a local passenger train. Four, 536 hauls an empty coal wagon train comprising 35 vehicles from Gloucester to Lydney, where the train will transfer to the 7 and Y to take the empty wagons up to the coalfields of the Forest of Dean. My principal period of interest and for modelling is the Great Western Railway in the mid-1930s, and my layout is going to be based on this period. However, I also have an interest in the BR Blue period from 70 to about 75, which is the time when I was taking a lot of photographs around the railway system. My particular favourite as a Great Western man is the Western region, and here you can see two of my locos, 829 Magpie, which is on a milk train, and D1069 Western Vanguard, which is on a passenger train. Now today is the first day that I've tested these blue period locomotives and stock on the railway, so let's see what happens. A number of short videos showing the trains in action.